Okay, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Shira David. I hope everyone is doing well, and we're moving along. We're in the 9 days. It's a tough time for Klal Yisrael. We have tough history in this time, and we should all be safe. All Jews around the world. Okay, we're going to continue learning Likutey Halachos, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, with Siyata D'Shmaya, of course. We're learning Hilchos Netilas Yadayim L'Suda, washing your hands for the meal, and for bread. And that's Halacha Vav, and we're in the middle of Nun Aleph. So that's 6, and we're in the middle of Nun Aleph 51. And we're going to pick it up over here. Ki zeh yadua l'chol adam kama v'kama itim she'oivim ola begashmias v'ruchnias. Everyone understands and everyone can relate to this. There's a lot of things that happen to us, right? Happen to us based on pertaining to our physical things in life, spiritual things. We have our ups and downs with everything, right? Beguf, he says, right? It could be with the person's health, the nefesh, it could be with his spirituality, or the moment, parnasa, financial situations, right? People have times they're up and sometimes they're down, okay? Yeah, that's a good one, right? Right, and the trouble we have with our children when they're small, right? Someone once told my wife, when you have small children, you have small problems. Big children, big problems. Right? It's true. It's true. That's what I'm saying here, right? See that? Katnusam, right? When they're small, you think this is the problem. And then when they get older, you think, I wish I could have those other problems back again, right? Yeah, right?
Like when it says when they're small, you can eat them up. When they're big, you wish you did.
You wish you would have. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to talk about that in the yeah. Okay. The kama mina itzaros umitzaros shoynes, and all the problems that we have. Looking as a people, look at all the tzaros that we have as a people, right? And in our own lives, all the problems that we have. The kama Yeshuas v'chasadim in the flois Hashem is baruch oizaloi b'chol pam. But let's focus on how Hashem is always saving us, and He's helping us all the time, right? Even though the situation seems so difficult and so you want to go to despair, but Hashem is always there. He's always with us. Remember, no matter what it is, no matter what you're going through, Hashem is there with you. He's mamish there with you. Efrat b'inyan kedushas yahadusai, and specifically when it comes to Yiddishkeit and kedusha, right? A person it gets overwhelmed sometimes. The Yetzer Hara, we know it's the end of time, right? Mashiach is at here, and we know at the end of time the Yetzer Hara is just going to he pulls out anything he can. There's no embarrassment at all to the Yetzer Hara these days. Nothing. He does anything he wants. There's an example that the Chafetz Chaim gave. I just remembered it now. That with this understanding of the Yetzer Hara, he says, the Yetzer Hara, picture a very proper gentleman, with his top hat and his tie and everything, and he does everything, very nice and very yes sir, and all of that stuff, right? But at the end of time, the example he gives is this fancy fella's walking along the bridge, right? And he's checking his bow tie, all that. Then there's a big wind that comes, and it throws him off the bridge, and he's in the water. What's he doing now? He's flapping around. He's trying. It's kind of hard to swim, with your coat, right? So he's trying to survive. So the Chafetz Chaim said that's the Yetzer Hara now. He's about to be slaughtered. So he figures he'll do anything he can. He's not worried about his tie and all of that. Anything he can. He'll do anything he can just to survive. And that's what the Yetzer Hara does today. It's amazing. But we have to realize that. He'll pull anything at anybody. But we have to remember Hashem is always there with you, and you can always cry out to Hashem. Right? That's why his does. Speaking to Hashem is so important. Right? Okay. Efrat being kedushas yadus. Okay. V'zeh ikar harachmonis al nefesh hayisraeli. To help a Jew save himself from sin. Right? That's the main rachmanis we can have. We spoke about that. Right? In other words, people have we can sense if somebody is you see a poor person, right? So you have compassion on the poor person, right? If it's a very cold day, and the person doesn't have a coat and he has tattered clothing, so you feel compassion. You want to help him. You want to help the person, right? But how often do we look at a person that's sinning? That doesn't know about Torah, and do we feel bad and we have Rahmanas about that? Right? Do we relate to that? We're saying that's the main Rahmanas that we have to have. Huh?
Most times people have despise over the others. They despise the others most times.
I understand, but that's not the way it's supposed to be.
But that's only because they see in them the fact that themselves are sinning. They themselves are sinning.
No.
And there's a reminder
That's
of
what
it.
I'm talking about.
No. I know what he's talking. No. You see, but that's because people don't appreciate the situation that Hashem put them in, right? In other words, how often does a person thank Hashem that he says, hey Hashem, you made me and you gave me the ideas to be religious, to want to follow the Torah? Was it I that did that? Right? Was I born in other words, people are born in different situations, right? Hashem puts them in each person in their situation. Right? We have to remember that. It's not you don't choose what family you're going to be in. You don't choose what country you're going to be born in. You don't choose what neighborhood in the country you're going to be born in, right? You're born. You're born. So now these guys that are born in, the guys that let's say they're born into a family in Meah Shaharim or Bnei Brak, so they think they're so fancy. See, I'm great. See, I look at my yichus. See, my Zayda was the Rebbe, right? Oh, see, I'm a hatzi-tatzi guy. Well, what did he do? What, he did something to be born into that family? So when we realize it's all Me'ez Hashem, so then I look at any other Jew and I could see, wow, I feel bad. Hashem, wow, this guy was born in that family and he was raised that way. I should have compassion on that person. You understand? But people don't appreciate, and they take for granted what they have. You understand? I think that's the ultimate problem. That everyone thinks that they were born, but really, hey, what did you do to be born in that family? It's nothing that you did. Hashem put you there. So what makes you better than this person?
Or the other way too.
Huh?
You're born into a family, somebody's born into a family, and they don't appreciate what they have.
Of course.
They look up, everybody else has this, I got a dysfunctional family, I got this.
Naturally, okay, but we were just focusing on here the Ruchnius part.
Okay.
Right, that's why I was using that one. No, but of course, it works all around.
Yeah.
Sure, and of course that. Yeah. No, because he said here, there's a Ikar Rachmanis al Nefesh Yisraeli, that you should save the person from sin. Okay, V'sham koilin kol hatzaros v'yeshuos v'yeridas v'aliyas shel kol adam ki save kol save lo yisha mimenu klum. At the end of the day, right? We're all buried, and we're put in that little box, and that's that little dollar by dollar thing. It's what is it? How much space do we take? Right? After everything's said and done, no matter who this guy, he get put in the same piece of ground. Ki Hashem nisgaber bechazda yizbarach lahatzel v'nimolet mipach yoikshim mehametzuda haprusa al kol hachayim. Whenever we saved ourselves from the Yetzer Hara, right? He says that the Mitzuda Prusa is the Yetzer Hara. We're saved from that Yetzer Hara, from trying to pull us away from Hashem. Al Kol HaChayim. That's what we have, right? All that we fought, and that we won, and all the Mesiras Nefesh that we put in, right? That we persevered to serve Hashem. Chol eis v'eis she'over ala adam. Bein betivu uvein be'aku. Whether times are good times or times are bad times. It doesn't matter. Chas v'shalom. Bein ba'aliyah, bein b'yerida. Whether times you feel like you're really close to Hashem, or times you feel you're very, very distant from Hashem. Uvekula meya b'hem atzadik b'chinas yisachar sheyedu eitzes ma'alases. You have the tzadikim, like we said, yisachar, yesh schar. Yisachar is yesh schar. You still have reward for what you did. Don't forget, you may have made all these mistakes, you may have done things, but you did a lot of good. And you still have the reward coming to you for what you did. Yesh schar. Yadeya bina li'itim. They know the times. They know what to say at that time. The same way Yisachar knew what to do when it came with the Mishkan. And they knew to set up the wagons. That was pulled by the oxen. They knew that that's what had to be done at that time. They knew that at that time that's what needed to be done. What Yisrael needs. And the same way we said, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't even know what to do. He didn't understand. Moshe Rabbeinu heard, hey, what are you guys doing with these wagons? Hashem never said anything about wagons. Hashem said, no, that's good, that's good. Really? So they had a nevuah that I didn't have? No, Hashem says, no. They learned it from your teachings, from what you told them. They deduced, they came up with this idea that they need the wagons. Sheyedu b'chol itim she'oivim aleihem ma yasu v'ma yechayu es atzman b'oifim sheyesharu al omdam v'la yiplu v'la yisrachu kul yoylam. Right, so if you follow the advice of the tzaddikim, right? If you follow their advice, and again, that's considered das Torah, right? The tzaddikim is das Torah, right? And because they have das Torah, they can figure out each time what we need, what Klal Yisrael needs at that specific time. But we have to listen to them. We have to listen to them. This is what it means that they understand the situation for that time. Each time there's something else. Every time, each generation, there's something else that we have to work on, right? They're telling us today the main thing we have to work on is Shmiras Einayim, right? Shmiras Einayim. Watch what you see, right? Watch what you see. This is the main thing that we're supposed to work. That's what tzaddikim tell us. Hey, there's going to be that final day, that Eisa Achron. There's going to be that final day. Shu Eis Kibul Haschar shall call Echad mi Yisrael Shu Bechinas ke Eis Yoimel Yaakov Yisrael Ma'Pol Kel Hamu B'Torah now. Leading Aras Harotzan and Muflog B'Shas Achila. So what was that? When we come up to Shemayim, the Malachim will see. The Malachim are going to see. Wow! Look what this person. Look what this neshama accomplished in the world. And they're going to be like, wow, how did they do this? How did they do this? How did this neshama accomplish this? The Malachim remembered because Hashem sent them down into the world and they stumbled right away. Right? Remember those Malachim, right? Hashem sent them down by Avraham Avinu, right? He sent them down. We have stories with the Malachim, right? Wow, you were in the world for all those years? We were only there for a short time and we messed up. You were there, and why does he say b'shas achila? Because where did the malachim screw? They messed up. They messed up by eating, by Avraham Avinu. They got carried away with their food. Avraham Avinu is giving them food. They got carried away with it. So we can make the tikkun right there when we're eating. Again, when you connect your food back to Hashem when you're eating, that's what overwhelms the malachim more than anything else. Because that's where they stumbled. They were tested on that.
What did you do wrong?
They ate with a little too much enjoyment. Avraham Avinu was giving them, Avraham Avinu had his delicatessen, right?
Yeah, we always say that they didn't eat.
They ate.
They couldn't eat because they're like different creatures. Don't have.
But they were in a guf. They were in a guf. They were in a guf. They were in a body. They had a body. They had a, one second, Sasha, they had a body.
Right.
But the body was being run as the soul of the angel. That's all. But they were an angel in the body. Avraham Avinu didn't say he saw malachim. He saw people. He thought they were Arabs, right? He thought they were Arabs walking on the wayfarers that were walking by, right? That's how Hashem set it up. Realize that it's very, very, very pure. It's amazing. It was all about achila. So when we're eating, when we wash our hands, and then we have that yira shemayim while we're eating, and we realize, wow, Hashem, you prepared this food for me. That's great. That's great. Okay, v'zeu ladas ma yase Yisrael ma daika bechinas ke'esh yomer liyakal Yisrael ma pol kel. Wow, how did you do this? How did you do more? Again, more. Like Yaakov, Moshe Rabbeinu said, more Hashem Elokecha shoyu mincha kiyim liyira, right? More, right? So bechinas haras harotzen shu bechinas ma rav tucha asher tzafante l'reyecha. Look at that beautiful word. Look at this beautiful thing. Ma rav tucha. Why? How much good is hidden away for those that fear Hashem, right? Again, we said, where do you get the yira? When you're doing the botzei, when you're being botzei the bread, right? So you're supposed to find that part of the bread that was a little more well done, where the fire grabbed the bread a little bit more, and that's the part where you can make the tikkun on. You can make the tikkun on there. Yeah, the Rizal writes that that's the part where there's a neshama in everything that you eat, right? So it works out that part that got a little more well done is where the soul from that piece of bread, whatever it is that you're eating, yeah, right, wherever that is, and then when you make the bracha and then you eat that, you make the tikkun for it. Unbelievable, right? Ki ikar hischazkus hu al yedei harotzen. The main thing is to be mischazek is through rotzen. It's a person's will, our desire. I'm always connecting to the Ratzon Hashem, and it's what we want. Remember something, Yiddishkeit's different than anything else, right? You can want to serve Hashem. The Ratzon is sometimes more precious than the mitzvah itself, right? You can want to serve Hashem for a long time, right? For example, a person wants to shake his lulav and esrog, right? They say that the Kedushas Levi, he couldn't sleep. He couldn't sleep Sukkot night. He couldn't sleep. He would go into Sukkah. He couldn't sleep. He was so excited, anticipating to shake the lulav. He was so excited. He couldn't sleep. The little kid when they're getting their toy or something, you know how excited they are, right? Mm-hmm. Right? They, whoa, I can't wait to play. He couldn't wait to shake his lulav, his daled minim. That time that rotzen, that feeling that he wanted it so bad is so precious. How long does the mitzvah take already? You shake your lulav, it takes you 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. How long are you going to shake it for already? 5 seconds. What? Okay, it's 5 seconds. Okay, but you can have that rotzen for a very long time. It's all about the rotzen, right? That desire. I want to do the mitzvah. That's special. Okay. Just want to serve Hashem. The fact that I want to serve Hashem, whatever's going on, right? The guy sitting in traffic, he wants to get to shul, right? I want to get to minyan. I want to get to that minyan, right? The minyan may only take 3 minutes, right? But he wants to get to the minyan, right? That rotzen, right? That's so special. Val kolpanim yichsoif yishtoikek lashuv laHashem yisbarach mikol mokim shehu kisoif kol soif ma yishor mimenu. Hey, what's going to remain of us at the end? What's remain? We pine and we to be closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because that's the most important thing that we keep forever. Right? This world, the person's in the world for how many years? Chavetz Chaim also said this is the prosdor, right, to get to the chocolate. Right? We're trying to get to the what do you call it? To the palace. We're in the antechamber now. This is only the way to get us there. So that's why everything we do here is so important, and how much we desire we have to want to serve Hashem. Ubefrat shekvar golu lanu gilu lanu hatzadikim hamitim sha'arotza in hatoy ba'atzma yotev v'choshev mi'oid mi'oid. The tzaddikim all tell us that the rotzah, the fact that I want to serve Hashem, is something sometimes greater than what you actually accomplished. We don't understand that. We can't understand it because we live in a world of checks and balances, right? If I did the thing, I get a check. If I don't. But no, the fact that I want to serve Hashem, that rotzen is so precious. That's what Rav Nosson is trying to teach us over here. The rotzen, the fact that I want to go, I want to do the mitzvah.
That's why it's so frustrating when we're not able to do it for some reason, because we're getting shaken up by the Yetzer Hara, like you said.
Yeah, he shakes us up, but again, even while the Yetzer Hara is shaking up the person, hey Hashem, I want to do the right thing. Right? He's trying to bother me, right? You cry out to Hashem, help me, right? Help. What's hidden for the person, because again, you won't notice this now. You're not going to notice this now. We don't see what we accomplished by the rotzah, by the will, the desire to serve. We don't see that. You understand? We don't see that. Right? That's why it's the 9 days now. The desire that we want the Beis Hamikdash, right? Right? When you're saying karbonos, right? When you say the karbonos, you realize why there was a Beis Hamikdash. We used to bring these sacrifices. Hashem, I want this back again. I want it back again. I want to feel that connection, right? Feel that longing, what I'm missing. Today the problem is we don't really even know what we're missing. We don't know. It's so long. We have no idea. But try to imagine. Try to imagine when you're reading the Seder of the Kabbanis, Ezu Mekayman, right? You're reading Ezu Mekayman, Shazvachim, Kachei Kachim, Shkitasa Batzofan, right? When you're reading these beautiful things, wow, he stood in the north and he was sacrificed it in the north. To think about that, right? It's a beautiful thing, right? You have a Kohen over here, Baruch Hashem, I see that. V'alken es chazei tamid b'chol eis chazak l'Hashem yisbarach mikol mokim. Shal yedei zeh yis oirev yis gaber l'spalol tamid l'Hashem yisbarach l'harbais ba'amiris tehilim u'v'tchinos ba'kosha yis rabbis yachmol olav Hashem yisbarach. Just daven in your own words. Say tehillim. Say any kind of supplications you can, any kind of request that you can request from Hashem, any way you can, that Hashem should have mercy on you. We need a leader that can really control, to teach us really what to do. Right? We don't have that. Hashem send us a real leader. We need a leader like Moshe Rabbeinu. Not the kind of leaders we have today. We need a leader like that. Ad sheyizke lotzeis me'aruach shtus, in order for me to get away from that ruach shtus, the ruach of folliness. Right? Hashem, save me from that. Right? Save me from that. And what's the best way to be saved from that? Cry to Hashem. And always remember that Hashem is always with you. Fill your mind with Hashem all the time. So then you don't let the other stuff get in. Because we said you can only think about one thing at a time, right? Ubefrat lahar beis baididus, and speak to Hashem as much as you can, wherever you are. You're in your car, you're taking a walk, you're standing online somewhere, right? You don't have to scream. You can talk to whisper. You don't have to scream, right? You're standing on a line. It was nice, when we had the COVID, they made you stand, when you stood online, you had to stand further back, right? So you're able to talk. It's fine. It was much easier, right? But today, you know what I do? If I want to do that, I take my my Bluetooth. You have those little things. You put it in your ear and you talk. So people think, oh, I'm not doing a business deal. Yeah, the most important business deal. Right? Today we have things to do, right? You put the little thing in your ear and then, the guy's... Unbelievable. Okay. So you see, until we can cry, actually shed a tear to Hashem Yisbarach, to Hashem to help to save us. Hashem Meshemayim v'yoir all of Hadassah Kodesh Levatel Ruach Shtus, and HaKadosh Baruch will send us what we need in order to be Mevatel, that Ruach Shtus, that cuckoo-ness, that stuff that just tries to fill our head with all of that stuff. We can be saved from all the sin, and we'll come back close to Hashem, but truthfully, the right way. This kind of tefillah, bechinas yira, bechinas ma, bechinas ma alekecha shoyim mimecha kiim liyira. Right? What does Hashem want from us? To serve, to fear Him. That's it. Reishis chachma yiras Hashem. Hey, serve Hashem, fear Hashem, realize Hashem is there. Because if you fear Hashem, if you have yiras Hashem, you're not going to be involved in the wrong things. Right? You're not going to do the wrong thing if you realize Hashem is with you. That's what Yiras Hashem is. Recognizing Hashem is with me. Shivisi Hashem l'negdi samen. That's Yiras Hashem. Shu b'chinas tefillah, b'chinas Yiras Hashem, he tishalol. It's the most praiseworthy thing when a person has Yiras Hashem. Kamu v'sham epasek l'inyan aras harotzen. Okay, ayin sham. Okay, so that's Nun Aleph, and it's amazing. But remember something. The rotzen, to have that desire to serve Hashem is so precious. And how do you get that? By praying. By His baididus. Praying to Hashem, davening to Hashem, and wanting to serve Hashem. And I want to get closer to you, Hashem. And we can all do that. And we should all do that. Okay? I mean, especially now, like we said, it's during the 9 days, to try to say, if you can say the Tikkun Leil Chatzos. You could say Tikkun Leil Chatzos. You could say it now during the day also, right? The Chatzos Hayom. You have the opportunity to do that. That's amazing, right?
You don't have to wake up to do it.
What?
You don't have to get up in the middle of the night to do it.
Listen, there are those that say it in the night and they say it again during the day. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at Nun Beis. Okay, V'alkein shiftei shel Yisachar, Daikish shekiblu hadas hakodesh hazeh. It was Shevet Yisachar that got this special das, this special das that what to do, as far as when it came with the Mishkan, right? They came up with this advice. I mean, it seems very practical, right? It seems like, okay, so what was the big deal? Hey, wait a second. We never had a Mishkan before. Did we have any idea that we were able to put it on a wagon? We're looking back now at the story. Yeah, okay, so they had a wagon. Okay, big deal. But to come up with that idea to have the wagon, that was something very special. Shesham Iker Hiskashus V'Aklolius Chaldari Mala V'Dari Mata. That was the place. That was the headquarters, right? The Mishkan was the headquarters where you had the Dare Mala, Dare Mata came together. The upper world and the lower world joined together in the Mishkan. in the Beis Hamikdash, which is what we don't have now. Shezeh hoye ikrit hatikkun shel chet ha'egel shepogmu Yisrael be'emunah ve'ovdu avodah zarah. Now what happened? Let's go back. So Hashem gave us the Torah, right? Moshe Rabbeinu went up to heaven, and he was supposed to come down in 40 days, right? And then they miscalculated, right? They miscalculated, and they said, "Oh, Moshe's not here. Moshe's not here."
You know, to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah,
they didn't have the Torah yet.
they did have the Torah.
They did have the Torah?
Yeah.
I thought that was the first time he went up.
No, but that was after Har Sinai.
Okay.
Yeah, we did have the Torah. That was yeah.
Okay.
No, let me remind you. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu. Wait a second. One second. I'll tell you what you're thinking. We learned that Moshe Rabbeinu, when he came down, he broke the Luchos.
Yeah.
And what was his calculation? His calculation was, if I break the Luchos, then we don't have the Torah. If we don't have the Torah, so then what did he do wrong? That's what you were thinking of.
Yeah.
Right? What did we do wrong? If there's no Torah, then they didn't do anything wrong. The Torah says you can't have a foreign god. But the Torah we don't have the Torah. Hashem, what are you angry at them for? It's amazing. That was Moshe Rabbeinu. And that Hashem gave him a yeshakayach for doing that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Hashem gave Moshe Rabbeinu a yeshakayach, you know? You get a Aliyah, say, shkayach, right? Hashem gave Moshe Rabbeinu a yeshakayach. Unbelievable. All right, so anyway, so we took our money, we took all the gold, and we made this golden calf. So Hashem said, after all said and done, and we got the Yud Gimel Midas Arachim and everything else, Hashem said, okay, now make the Mishkan. Now let's do this the right way. Go get your money, use your money now, and let's use it for something positive. So that's where the Mishkan came about. It's amazing, right? It came about through the sin of the golden calf. Isn't that fascinating? It's fascinating, right?
So you have to go down before you go up.
Right, and then that's where we got the Yud Gimel Midas Arachim, the 13 attributes of mercy. Where did that come from? Because of the sin. Unbelievable. And when HaKadosh Baruch Hu was appeased, with Moshe Rabbeinu's his calculation and what he did, and the actions that Moshe Rabbeinu did by breaking the luchos, and like what we just spoke about. Hashem says, okay, now you're going to make the Mishkan. Now go make a Mishkan. With amazing, awesome, different repairs that could be made. Tikkunim, right? There was big tikkunim that were happening. Until the Shekhinah came down in the Mishkan, filled the Mishkan, right? Filled the Mishkan, and we saw the two worlds come together. We saw the upper world, the Shekhinah from the upper world come down into the Mishkan, into this place, to teach that Meloi Chalaretz Kavod, Hashem's covet is everywhere in the world. There's nowhere you can go that doesn't have Hashem's covet. That's why he did that in the desert. That's why the Mishkan was introduced to us while we were in the desert. Because there's no Chiddush. If you told me that Hashem came down on Har HaBayis, right, on the Temple Mount, and he came there, okay, fine, that's a place of holiness. That's great, okay. But how do I know Hashem is in the desert? Oh, so Hashem said, no. Go make the Mishkan, and we're gonna dwell in the desert. And I'm going to bring the Shekhinah in the desert to show you that even in this place, where man can't live here. People can't live in the desert, right? You can go through the desert, you can be there for a little while, but no one can live in the desert, right? You can't live in the desert unless, okay, and if you bring plumbing and everything else, I guess they did that in Nevada, right? They made Las Vegas, they made a city in the middle of the desert, right?
Yeah.
They made a city in the desert. But normally you can't do that, right? Right? In the deserts that we have, you can't normally do that, right? But Hashem shows that He's there. He made the Mishkan in this place to show them Hashem's covenant is everywhere in the world. They were the ones that were studying the Torah, right? Yisachar, Zvulun, right? We learned about that, right? Zvulun went out. They were Samach Zvulun B'Tzeitzcha. Zvulun was very happy when they went out because they were the ones that were supporting. They were the ones that were supporting Yisachar. Yisachar was in the middle of learning, right? Zvulun they were able to do business, and they felt good about what they did, and that was where they shined greatest. That was their colors, right? We learned about the colors, right? That was their color, right? Yisachar was able to learn. So Yisachar did, okay. And where did they learn the Torah from? From their Rebbe, Moshe Rabbeinu. So therefore they came up with the advice that all the Nesiim should get together wagons, build wagons, make wagons, right? They didn't have wagons, they had to make wagons, right? That'll be in a way that they can carry the Mishkan on these wagons, right? All the krushim and the skins and all of the parts of the Mishkan, right? All the kalim, right? So we know, like, let's say the Aron had the badim, the Shulchan had the badim, right? The Mizbechas had badim. They would carry those. Those they would carry, right? Those they would carry, but they didn't really have to carry them. They would just put their hand on it and it would just go. Amazing.
Well, these weren't just wagons that it's like hydraulic system. Oh, it's got wheels and it rolls. But it was.
They were pulled by oxen. Shvarim, oxen.
So again, it was a metaphysical chiddush.
No. The thing was that we want to ground the Mishkan down here. The Mishkan wants to gravitate up. We want to keep it down in this world. So we're going to put on something real physical, a wagon, right? And not just a wagon that it's going to be motorized. No, it's going to be an ox pulling it. Real physical, course. Lahamshich Likutey is barach lemata. B'chol hadorei mata hayerudim miyoid loidia lakol mi ki Hashem hu elikim. To show Hashem is down in this world, in the grime, wherever Hashem is there, He's there. Shebishvil zeh holchu Yisrael b'midbar abarim shana v'holchu abarim ushnayim masois, and therefore that was last week's parsha, right? Therefore, we were in the desert for 40 years, and we made 42 journeys, right? 42 journeys. The Arizal says that every Jew makes 42 journeys in their life, right? Right, 42 journeys, 42 different situations. We have the Ana B'Chayach is also 42 letters, right? 42 words. 42 words in Ana B'Chayach is the shame of Hashem, unbelievable. Okay, but over Kama Midbariyos, and we went through many deserts. We went through a lot of different deserts. Hakol Kidei Legales Hashem is Baruch B'Chol Mokeh. Wow, could you imagine if Hashem is in the deserts and all these deserts and all these inhabited places? So of course Hashem is everywhere else, right? If He's there, He's everywhere else, right? Hashem is Baruch Meroima Memenusa Mi'oid Mikolei Lameis Aruchniim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is really higher than all the worlds of holiness. V'apal Pichein B'niflois Chasadav Hu Mitzamseim Shchinosoi Lamata. Hashem constricts his Shechina to be able to come down into this world. That's His greatness, that Hashem can come in this world. Right, and then we said the example to that is the greater the tzaddik is, right? The greater the tzaddik is, the higher the tzaddik is, the lower the tzaddik can go down, right? The lower the tzaddik can go down into the place that someone else could not go to, because the tzaddik can be protected. Kamay mevayisham v'zeh berumas sham b'medrash she'amru hamishkan hazeh she'atem oisim peireach hu ba'avir. Yisachar said that the mishkan that you made is going to gravitate and it's going to float up to Shemayim. What? What's that we say, David?
No, I'm just reading it too.
Also, Layagola. So they made wagons for it. Ufeirish, Sham Hamatonis Kahuna, Paireya Chuba Avir, Shuba Loshan Tamiya. Right? That everything wanted to go up. It's a wonder. The whole thing's a wonder. Avayesh Lefarish Shekavanasam Hu Kipshutai. Shama Yisrael Halaya Mishkan Hazeh Shata Moisim Paireya Chuba Avir. This Mishkan that you made now, it's going to go. So what are we going to gain from it? When we made this Mishkan, it's going to go up. Kihu rokach mioid mizeh oilam agashmi v'yochel lefroyach ba'avir. This Mishkan, because it was made with such a level of holiness, it had really nothing to do with this world. So it wanted to leave the world. Ulistalik mikem. It wanted to leave. It wanted to leave them. Al kein tzrichen lasei tachbulai. So therefore they had to make a strategy. They needed a kind of a strategy. They needed lahamshichai oid lemata lemata, to bring it lower down, not just on. No, to bring it mamish down. Lahavi agolos v'shvarim, to have wagons and oxen. Losei soisei, to carry it. Ad shetia nimsheches hakadusha shel hamishkan gam ala agolos v'hagashmias. Therefore, that the holiness of the Mishkan will also be onto the wagon, because again, you put it onto the wagon, you make it holy. So you mekadesh something of physicality with the animals v'hashvarim sheim behemas charsei das. They had no das. Animals have no das. Like some people, they say that they don't have any das. They don't know. But anyone that can have the kedusha is found in everything. He called Mashi Yisrael Mamshichin Kedushasei Lamata Yoisa Umagalin Shebetoikif Hagashmias. The more you can bring the Shechina down, and then you can show that in the powerful physicality. Shoyre Kedushasei Ayadei Nis'ala Niskadei Shemayis Baruch B'Yoisa. To show Hashem is in these places, that makes Hashem much greater. That Hashem can come down into these places. What did the Goyim say? The Goyim say Hashem, we're in this world, but Hashem is up on high. He's up on high. We do what we need to do down here. He takes care of upstairs. He doesn't come down here, right? Isn't that what the Catholics say, right? Hashem, he's too lofty for this world. No, we're saying opposite. Hashem is mamish in this world. He's mamish here with us. Meloi chalaretz kevoda. Meloi chalaretz. Oretz. Meloi chalaretz kevoda. They're land. Earth. V'daika yedei zeh niksheres k'tushasei lemata v'loi tistalei koy. And therefore they were able to bring the Kedusha down into this world. And it would not leave ever. It would always stay in here. That's what they were able to accomplish by putting the Mishkan onto the wagons. So we think it's okay. They had a wagon. Okay, big deal. They needed something to move the material. No, but we have to understand there was a motive. There was a method to that, what they were trying to accomplish, and Moshe Rabbeinu was amazed by that. In other words, you can't do something unless Hashem told them to do it, especially pertaining to the Mishkan. So therefore, they came up with this idea with the wagons and the oxen. And Hashem said, that's good. Moshe Rabbeinu said, well, how come I didn't figure that out? No, Hashem said it was only because of you they figured it out. When you taught them, Meloi chalaretz kevoda. You taught them this idea, that I'm in this world. You taught them that via the makos, right? Via the makos, right? We made the little lice, the little tiny things, right?
Sometimes the students can teach the Rebbe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the chiddush, right?
Yeah.
Well, don't we see that with Rabbi Akiva?
Yeah.
right? Moshe Rabbeinu was looking at Rabbi Akiva, is darshaning. What are you doing? What's he doing down there? I don't understand. No, he's teaching your Torah. That was a perfect example, right?
What was the plan before the Mishkan? If we didn't do Likutey Egel, what was the plan? Hashem already taught us in the Makos that he's
right. He's Malay Chalaretz Kavayda.
We knew that already. We had
right.
that. So that's not a.
But no, so Yossi, if we didn't do the Likutey Egel, we would have gone right away into Eretz Yisrael.
We would have had a Beit HaMikdash.
We would have had the Beit HaMikdash, and that would have been everything. That would have been fine. No, because Yossi, remember something. We were able to come to a level of purity of before the Eitz Hadas Tov Ra on Har Sinai. We already got rid of the Eitz Hara. We fixed everything. Everything was already fixed. It was fixed. But then we brought it all back together. We brought it back down. We brought the same sin again. We brought the Eitz Hara back. So therefore now we have to go through the desert. We have to do this. And then we had the spies. And that's what we hit today. And that's the 9 days, right? We could have avoided this whole thing. Plan A was Adam Arishan doesn't eat from the Eitz Hadas Tov Ra. And the whole tikkun happens then. Because we said that all Nishmas Yisrael was in Adam Arishan. Right? We were all there. So if Adam Rishon would have done the right thing, we would have stayed in Gan Eden and everything would have been great. Fixed. Okay, plan B. He ate from the tree. He didn't say he's sorry. Right? He didn't say he was sorry. Chava didn't say she was sorry. Right? All right, so now we have to go into the world, right? We get stuck in here. All right, so we were stuck in the world, and then Hashem put us through the thing. We went to the Kura Barzel in Mitzrayim, right? And we cleaned ourselves out. Everything got purged and everything got cleaned. And then we went through the desert and we raised up from the 49th lowest level. We went up to the 49th highest level. Maimed Hasinai was the 50th gate. We made it to the highest level. We fixed everything. Everyone had refuahs, right? If anyone was missing limbs, if anyone was missing and everyone was repaired. Everything was fixed. Everything was fixed. And if Moshe Rabbeinu wouldn't have brought the Erev Rav out, so we wouldn't have had the problem. So, Yossi. It is what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. That's what it is. Oh, wow. Kamuven kol zeh ba'Torah v'zayra kadosh b'tikunim b'frat b'ma she'isa b'tikunim Yisrael koren lei b'shma Yisrael u'kishoren lei b'kama kishorim shel tzitzis u'tfilin. Right, all the things we learned about, right? We learned about the idea of Shema Yisrael, how you can bring the person to the place of Ratzon, right? Rava de Ravin, right? And we learned the beauty of the tzitzis, right? The tzitzis, right? The knots of the tzitzis, right? Re'isa ma'isa yuschatem is kol mitzvahs Hashem, right? Right? Look at the tzitzis, you can see all the mitzvahs of Hashem, right? Because you have the 32 strings, right? 32 is Lamed Beis. 32 is Lamed Beis. The last word of the Torah is Einei Kol Yisrael, right? Yisrael, remember, right? Yisrael, right? Ends with a Lamed. First word in the Torah is a Beis, Bereshis. So you look at the tzitzis; it has all the mitzvahs inside the tzitzis. And tefillin, we learned all about tefillin, right? Tefillin, unbelievable, the tefillin, right? Tefillin is connected. Actually, the fact that it's actually connected to Sefer Devarim. Do you know that? They say that Sefer Devarim is really the review, right? It's Mishnah Torah. It's the review of the Torah, right? How do you know that? Because they say from the tefillin, the tefillin shel rosh has 4 boxes in it, four compartments, right? And 4 separate parshios. 4 separate parshios, right? So that's the first 4 books of the Torah. You have Bereshis, Shemos, Vayikra, Bamidbar. That's in the tefillin shel rosh. Tefillin shel yad is all of them together. It's one long scroll, because that's Sefer Devarim. So Tefillin Shel Rosh is Bereshis, Shemais, Vayikra, Bamidbar. Tefillin Shel Rosh, the Tefillin Shel Yad is connected to Devarim. You know that? Amazing. V'zeh bechinas melech osa barahitim. That's what it says that the king is what do you call it? Is bound in his thing. Okay, kamuva b'dvarim zichroinu levrocha. Likutey tinyon, okay, al kain. Haya eitza amuka shel shevet Yisachar lahavi agolos u'shvarim losais is a mishkan shel yifroch ba'avir. That it was a great advice that they had that to bring this idea with the wagons and the oxen that it shouldn't fly up. Rak lahamshich kedushas hamishkan ala agolos v'shvarim gashmiyah. To bring the kedusha of the mishkan onto the wagons themselves. These now became holy wagons. Right? Said if a person touched the Mizbeach, he became holy. Right? You touched the Mizbeach, you became holy. Because the Mizbeach was holy. So now they put the material, the krushim, the beams from the Mishkan on it, they became holy from that. To bring the Shechina all the way down, that's the main tikkun. Because these wagons that carried the Mishkan, wow, look at that. Yecheskel had the nevuah, right, of the Meiser Merkava, right, with the chariot, the holy chariot, right, the holy chariot. Shahayu sham aifanim vegalgalim noisei hakisei, right, and there were different kind of angels and all kind of different things that's in the nevuah from Yecheskel. Ki kol Meiser hamishkan v'seida adigolem ayu v'chinas Merkava el yoyna kayadua. So the whole thing, the Mishkan, and the way they travel with the flags and all the colors and all of that, that's the way it is up on high. The Bechinas Merkava Yagoman. Well, you see, we have our Goman again here. See that show? We were just talking about the tablecloth, right? The Argoman, right? The Eilu Haifanim V'Agalgalim Shel Agolos Hein Bechinas Galgalei Merkava. And they are the wheels of the Merkava. Unbelievable. The Bechinas Galgal HaChayzer, the way we learned about the idea that the whole world is the Galgal HaChayzer, right? The whole world's the Gal. People are up and they go down. Things are down, they go up. Everything is always moving around. Again, the idea of Dare Mala, Dare Mata, right? Sometimes you're down and then the next thing you're up. Next time sometimes you go down, they go back up again. Binyan the dreidel, like the dreidel, hamuva belkutei maran, sheitzel hasipurei maisia, shebechinas al yoinim lamata v'tachtoinim lamala bechinas kolias lamais ayin sham heter. So we learned a lot about that. This idea, this beautiful idea with the mishkan that again we would sacrifice an animal, and the animal was something, of course, of this world. Right, and that would go up to be a isha reyach nichayach Hashem, Ratzon Hashem. It would be a Ratzon for Hashem. And then how the Shechina would come down to us over here. That was that connection. The upper world with the lower world happened most in the Mishkan and of course in the Beis Hamikdash. And that's the idea of the dreidel. The dreidel also spins, right? Sometimes you get the shin, sometimes you get the what do you call it? You get the gimel, right? You get the up and down. Everything is always changing. It's the galgal hachayzer. Sometimes malachim come down into this world, and sometimes men can go up into the other world. Moshe Rabbeinu went to the other world. Eliyahu Hanavi was a man; he became a malach. Malach became a man. This is the whole idea that the Rebbe is talking about in that idea. Okay, so that's our lesson for today. Like we learned before when we finished Nun Aleph 51, that the main thing is our Ratzon, to want to serve Hashem. We should all have the Ratzon to want to serve Hashem, and that'll be very good.
Amen. Can you just quickly speak about the co-op of Ma, or how did Ma fit in here? That's why I missed that.
Okay. So we said Ma Rav Tuvcha Safanta, right. So we have that, and we said that Moshe Rabbeinu said Ma Hashem Elokecha Shoylim Mecha Ki'im Liyira, right. So we want to connect and Yisachar said, we learned yesterday, Yisachar is Yesh Schar. Yisachar goes to yesh schar to remind us that you always have schar, no matter what you've done, but you have a lot of goodness inside of you as well, right? You have a lot of goodness still inside of you, and whatever you have, you'll always get repaired. You'll always get rewarded for, right? You get rewarded for everything. The ma of ma Hashem lakecha shoymcham nekim, and the yira is the main thing that we need. Person needs yiras Hashem. Reishis chachma, yiras Hashem, right? Ki'im liyira. If you have yira, so then you'll be able to have the ma tuv, tzafanta, right? That's hidden for you in the future, because the tzaddikim will always remind you about these things. Okay, but the main thing is to have yiras Hashem. Okay, today we're going to start learning in Likutey in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. We're starting a new chapter. We're starting the chapter of Chav Gimel, which is Ksas Dinei Kriya Sefer Torah. Okay, he says Ksas Dinei Kriya Sefer Torah because the laws of Sefer Torah are very, very, very long, and they're very, very complicated. Okay, and for a Rav, they're the most complicated halachos to always know, because the Rav never knows when he'll find a toas in the Sefer Torah, mistake or something lacking in the Sefer Torah, and what does he do? See, when you go to a Rav normally, you ask a Rav a shaila. So you can say, okay, I'll look it up, I'll get back to you, right? Sometimes the Rav will give you an answer right away, so they'll say, I have to look it up, I'll get back, give me a little bit, I'll get back to you. But now, hey, wait a second, you're in the shul, there's a problem, what do? Rav doesn't have time to go open up the Shulchan Aruch and start looking it up. He has to know it. You ever think of that, Yossi? Okay. All right, anyway, here, Aleph. Okay, Kishemetzian es ha-Sefer Torah min Aron HaKadosh. When we take out the Sefer Torah from the Aron, the Noisim Oisai El HaTeva, we're carrying it over to the Teva, Shekorim Baisham, that we're going to read it on, right? The Bima. Right? The Bima, we're going to carry you, read it. Noisim Oisai Derech Tzafan. You go towards the north. What? What do you mean you go towards the north? We're facing east, and he's walking back west.
He goes to the right side.
No, but the Sefer Torah is on the north side. When you're walking, the Aron is on the east, he's walking towards west. But when you're walking towards west, it's going on on the right, is he carrying the Sefer Torah on your right? That's north. Right? You understand?
So it works for here too. We're south of Jerusalem.
Yeah.
So we're walking south with the Torah.
Yeah.
From the Bima. So you go to the right all the time.
Yeah, okay, but he's not talking. Okay, in general, that's how everywhere they daven towards the east.
Right.
You always go, what?
Including here?
No,
No.
not here.
No, here.
Because we're south of Jerusalem, so our Aron is by the north. We do walk south.
No, but it's Keilu, the east, because we're always facing that way. You're facing towards Yerushalayim.
I think the important thing is you're going to the right.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
But okay, we're not talking about here in Eretz Yisrael. In most of the world.
This is Hungary.
Yeah.
Hungary.
Yeah. Okay, Sefer Torah. Okay, nice and nice. Okay, nice and there at Safan. Shu liyamin hanaise, which is the right of the one that's carrying it. Right, the Shliach Tzibur, the Chazan is carrying the Torah. It's on his right. Umachzirin naise yalaron a kodesh nice naise derech dorim. Oh, so then you're going towards the south when you go back, because now I'm going towards east, and I'm carrying the Sefer Torah on my right. So now I'm going towards the south. Okay? Darim. V'tzrichim lahachzik es ha-Sefer Torah biyad yamin. You always carry the Sefer Torah on the right side. Most people know that, right? You carry, even if you're holding the Torah, let's say there's two svarim out. Right, you're holding it, so you always hold the Sefer Torah on your right. The mitzvah al kol adam Sefer Torah oiver lefanav. It's a mitzvah of everyone that the Sefer Torah passes by that person. Sheyalave oisay ad sheyagia el hateva. Follow the Sefer Torah, walk behind the Sefer Torah, malava the Sefer Torah, escort it till it gets to the bima, till they put the Sefer Torah down. It's amazing, right? So we learn a lot of different halachos about Sefer Torah, and we'll stop over here now. Any questions on this? Any questions? You have any questions? No questions? Wow, pretty good. Okay. Baruch Hashem. So I want to wish everyone a wonderful day, and we should all be safe, and we should all hear Besoro Tovot. And thank you very much for joining, everybody.